are in the right spot if you're looking to start your real estate career here in Maryland. I can help you with other state by connecting with other people, or you are looking to pass that real estate exam. Definitely, we are here to help you with that. Once again, if you're joining us live or you're watching this replay, to submit any of the questions that you want us to read while we are doing this live session, go to trainingwithbrenda.com/ask. If you have the opportunity while you are live to put your questions or your comment in the chat box on YouTube, we welcome that as well. We shall be checking in on your questions there. We are ready to get started. And today what we are doing is going through the Maryland Real Estate Exam Review. So another way to say that is when you are going to take the real estate exam in one of the 8 locations located in Maryland, or you're going to visit another PSI testing facility to go through the Maryland real estate exam, there are 2 parts. There's the national part, and then you have the Maryland part, and I'll go deeper into that. We're going to be doing questions on the Maryland real estate part of the exam that covers the real estate law. So we have a couple of questions we're going to review. I'll be presenting the questions. If you have the opportunity to put your answers in the chat box, you're welcome to do so. Or if you have your own questions, definitely you can go to trainingwithbrenda.com/ask. Let me get myself started on this conversation today with you. And so what I'm going to start off with, let me make sure I am tracking. So in a couple of seconds, bear with me. Let me make sure that we are on the same spot. Give me 2 seconds to get myself together here. There's a couple of things I need to do different when I am going through these presentations. So keep in mind, we are still learning and we appreciate your patience as we go through learning these different systems. So on my left, I am just making sure that you're seeing what I want you to see, which is in a couple of seconds, I'm just going to introduce myself in case we are meeting for the first time today. I am here to help you start your real estate career here in Maryland, prepare you to pass that real estate exam, whether it's both the national side or Maryland. I'm able to help you with that. Once you get your real estate license, congratulations, we are able to continue that conversation through professional development, which is what we call continuing education that I teach. My name is Brenda Kasuva. Our channel that you stumbled upon is on YouTube, either under the channel Brenda Kasuva, or you'll find us if you type in Training with Brenda, or better yet, you will find us when you go to pass the Maryland real estate exam. So there's a delay as I see what it is that you should be seeing. So I'm gonna breeze through to the next thing that I want you to be seeing, which is, and some people usually will be checking out this channel as they are driving. So I do my best to speak for those individuals who are not able to see what it is that we are presenting, because we want you to be safe. When you go take the real estate exam as a review, here I am starting off with, you have gone through the 60 hours that you need in order for you to get your Maryland real estate exam. Or some of us are fortunate to where they are able to go ahead and get a waiver. A waiver means that you already have a real estate license in another state and you don't need to go through the course. You just need to go take the exam. this is good for you. Another individual that would benefit from this is you've been licensed for 3 years as a salesperson here in Maryland, and now you're upgrading to become a broker. Wonderful. I am able to help you with that as well, to pass the broker real estate exam as well. So we're talking about that individual who's now at that stage where you have scheduled to go take your real estate exam, and now you are showing up just to let you know what it is that you can expect at that location. We have 8 locations in the state of Maryland. However, to echo what I might have mentioned in other videos, you can take this exam anywhere where you have a PSI testing facility. You can go and take this particular exam. So for example, you could take this real estate exam in North Carolina, yet you are trying to get your Maryland real estate exam. Just so you know that, you can go to any PSI testing facility. What will you be provided? A basic calculator, so you don't need to carry your own. A piece of paper for you to use while you're going through the exam. A pencil, earplugs to minimize any noise if applicable. And when you are going through the national part of the exam, you are going to be exposed to the amortization chart for those financing questions that are asking you to figure out that amount. The amortization chart is already provided. So let's make sure that we are being successful in terms of when we are getting ready to take that real estate exam, then we are understanding what is it that they are able, or what is it that you are going to gain. So give me 1 second here. I saw something that is not working out. So hopefully we are now back. For those of us who are watching live, take the opportunity to go ahead and go to our website, trainingwithbrenda.com/ask, where you will be able to submit any of the questions that you have right now. Otherwise, Brenda is prepared for me to be able to go through questions about that Maryland real estate exam. So let's just make sure we are guiding you where you should go. So yes, now you should be seeing where is it that you should be able to go. So you go to trainingwithbrenda.com/ask and submit your questions there. So right now we are back on track, and go there and submit your questions. If not, you can submit them on the YouTube channel if you are logged in and you see the option for you to be able to type in the chat box. So that was just a little bit of housekeeping. Let me get on track. Once you go take the exam, which again is at a physical location, you are going to be exposed to both the national part of the exam and Maryland, if applicable. Why, if applicable? Because maybe you already passed the national part of the exam, and now you're just going to do the Maryland part of the exam. Congratulations on which one you passed, and vice versa. If you already passed the Maryland, you're only going to be exposed to the national part of the exam. The good thing is that you will know right away, because once you submit, the results are going to tell you what's next. Did you pass? Congratulations ahead of time. If not, what do you need to do, and which part do you need to go back and take again? So when we're talking about questions, once again, please go to our website, trainingwithbrenda.com/ask, and I will be reviewing on what questions have been submitted. If you are watching this in the replay, we are going to do our best to answer in the next live session, or when it is possible to send you a response via email. Give us some time to definitely respond to that. Otherwise, go to trainingwithbrenda.com. I'll be checking shortly what questions have been presented. This exam, what can you expect? On the national or general part of the real estate exam, the 11 topics. These 11 topics are assigned a number of questions for these topics. The ones that generate the most questions is going to be the topic of contracts with 15 questions. On the salesperson exam, practice of real estate produces 10 questions. Agency tied at the same number of questions, 10. My friend, you will hear me saying this multiple times if you check out other videos, is you might be stressing yourself in the math or real estate calculations. They're only 5. So don't stress too much about the math. Skip it. Keep it to the very end. You are able to skip questions and review what you did not answer as long as it is within the allocated time. Pay attention to the ones that produced more questions. On the Maryland side, which is what we're focusing on today, there's 6 topics. These 6 topics are going to be broken down into the topic of what does the Real Estate Commission do? What are their duties? What powers do they have? The Maryland Real Estate Commission, 4 questions there. What is it that I need to know to get my real estate license and keep it? 4 questions in that topic. The topic of agency or brokerage relationship between the broker and the client and what is expected to the public, the most questions, 7. 5 on supervision, that broker whom you're going to be working for, what is the expectation of that individual? And then we have business conduct. How is it that we conduct our business? Ethics is 4 questions. And here we're talking about the regulations that are generated by the Real Estate Commission and giving you 30 questions on the salesperson exam. In order for you to pass that real estate exam, please note that the passing grade is 70% on both parts of the exam. So you're getting 80 questions on the national exam, 80 points, and 30 questions on the state part, Maryland real estate law, 30 questions on the salesperson. To my dear friend like myself who's getting the opportunity to become a broker or an associate broker, then you see 75 questions on the national part of the exam, if applicable. On Maryland real estate law, 40 questions. You will get extra questions. So people say, Brenda, you said 80 questions, but when I went to take the exam, there were not 80. It was 90 questions on the national and 35 on the sales, on the, the Maryland real estate law. Yes, I acknowledge that. And let me review that. These 10 extra questions on the national part don't count towards your score or your time. You're given 90 minutes to go through the national part of the exam. And when these survey questions, survey means they're trying to see whether they'll use it again in the future. It doesn't count towards your time or your score. And then 5 extra questions on the Maryland side, same thing. These don't count towards your time or your score. What do you need to know in order for you to pass? How many questions do you need to get right? It's a passing grade of 70%. So 56 questions you need to get right on the national part of the exam, both on the broker or salesperson, and then 21 for you to get right on the salesperson exam. And broker, you need to get 28. What's the difference again for those who are not familiar with when I say salesperson or broker? All this means is the broker is that individual who is working to get their broker license, and they have been licensed for at least 3 years as a salesperson here in the state of Maryland, and they are looking to go ahead and become a broker, or in the future, they want to become a broker. So that's the difference between salesperson is the entry level, and then broker is somebody who's upgrading. I am taking the moment to see if anyone has submitted their questions on the website. Once again, if you have your own questions or comments, go to trainingwithbrenda.com/ask for you to submit your question or your comment. We are going to review that if applicable. Or if you're logged in on YouTube and you see the option to chat, then go ahead and submit your questions there. I am proceeding to continue and talk about your resources. So let me get this back. I just checked in and I don't see any questions yet. So we shall come back and check in there. trainingwithbrenda.com/ask. I don't see in the chat box right now for those of us who are joining us live, which again, if you have your own questions, go ahead and go to trainingwithbrenda.com/ask. We have the breakdown of the questions. And what I mean by breakdown is on the national part of the exam, the 11 topics, right? And we mentioned contracts, agency, and practice of real estate produce the most questions. Well, what is it specifically under those topics could I possibly get questions about? That's what the breakdown is going to cover for you. Same thing on the Maryland side. You will see the breakdown of the 6 topics. What is it they're going to be questioning you about? You can find that on our website, trainingwithbrenda.com. Definitely, I don't want to take it for granted. You found us on our YouTube channel. We hope that we are going to provide value, that you want to keep coming back. So definitely subscribe, turn on any notifications. When we post anything new, we're doing our best. You will get notifications on that and share it. Training with Brenda is our YouTube channel name, or specifically when you search for Pass the Maryland Real Estate Exam, we look forward to making sure that you pass that exam. What are the things that you could do to be successful right now as you're working towards passing that exam? My dear, if you just finished the course, just schedule that exam as soon as possible. I know you're telling yourself, I need a break. I know you're telling yourself, I need to read more. You ready enough? Or worst case scenario, just go and see what it's all about. I know I'm asking too much when I say you just go check it out. It's $44 for you to go take the exam, and you would pay it if you need to go back. I just need you to do your best and schedule that exam as soon as possible. Yes, here in Maryland, we have some time. But what ends up happening is life. You finished your course today and you say, I'll take a break. A break turns into, let me take a month. And lo and behold, as of the recording of this video, it is now maybe Memorial holiday. And then lo and behold, it is now summer. And then now it is already spring. And then it is already the holidays. And then your year now is coming up and you're trying to start studying again. So please, once you're done with that course, schedule for that exam as soon as possible. Use the guide to help you break down what it is that you need to study for. So as you're mapping out, what am I going to study today? Use that particular guide. Use our channel if needed. We are here as well to offer you a tutor session. And once again, we have resources on our channel to guide you our website, trainingwithbrenda.com. Let me take a moment here and check in with you and see no comments yet. And let me refresh on the website to see if we have anything yet. Nope. Okay, great. So if you have any questions, once again, go to trainingwithbrenda.com/ask and submit your comments there. I am now going to shift and we're going to go through the questions. As I go through the questions, I will do my best to read it out loud for you and give you a moment to try and answer it. And then from there, we are going to tell you what is the answer and possibly tell you why. Let's go to the next one. Okay. What body sets ethical standards that must be observed by all real estate licensees? What body sets the things or the regulations or the laws, ethical standards that we, as all licensees, need to follow here in Maryland? Is it the National Association of Realtors? Is it the State Real Estate Commission? Is it Maryland Realtors? Is it the local boards and associations? So who is it that has the power to oversee all Maryland real estate licensees? So here we're talking about everyone that has a Maryland real estate license. It is the State Real Estate Commission. And so here I'll take a moment to review. Some of us who have a Maryland real estate license are going to pay and belong to the National Association of Realtors. And we shall call ourselves realtors. And so because we've paid membership to belong to the National Association of Realtors, they as an entity have their own rules. But keep in mind, for my license, the Real Estate Commission has the power to oversee everything that I do, and they have the power to take away my license. By me belonging to the National Association of Realtors is a choice. It's an investment. I don't have to. It depends on my broker, and that's the National Association of Realtors. For me to belong to the National Association of Realtors, I need to be a member of a local association. For example, Brenda belongs to 3 here in Maryland. I belong to the Greater Baltimore Board of Realtors. I belong to the Howard County Association of Realtors, and I belong to the Greater Capital Association of Realtors. So I belong to 3 local board and or associations, and that gives me access to the Maryland Realtors and then gives me access to the National Association of Realtors. That is membership, an investment. It doesn't impact my license. The person who has the power to impact my actual license is the Real Estate Commission. So that is number 2 is the answer. If you want to read more about the differences, we have a blog on our website, trainingwithbrenda.com, for you to review again what is the difference between a real estate agent and or a realtor. So definitely read about that. Next question. So let me check in the chat box here to see if anyone presented any questions. I apologize here. Let me track. Bear with me. Okay, if any comments were made. Okay, so just in case you are not logged into your YouTube, you might be struggling to get to the chat box. But if you are logged in and you have a channel and you see the option to put your comments in the chat box, definitely do so. If you're watching this in the replay, put it in the comments as well. We thank you all that are participating today. Let's continue. Okay. Here's the next question. Which of the following is true of salespersons' real estate licenses? Okay. Which of the following is true of salespersons' real estate licenses? Brenda again is focusing only on the Maryland real estate law part. So which one is true? 1, they must be placed and kept in a safe place chosen by the salespersons. 2, they are to be carried by the salespersons while providing real estate services. 3, they must be retained by the broker or designated manager in their office. 4, the license, they are to be carried by the broker or branch manager during business hours. So here you ask yourself, what are they asking? They're asking me about the actual license. So here they're talking about when you get your license, there's going to be 2 things generated. One is going to be a license, which is kind of like the size of, I guess, the envelope, kind of. The best way I can describe it is you enter an elevator or you go somewhere where they're displaying their license. It's kind of the size of a letter envelope. So that's a license. And then you have the other same thing, which kind of looks like this. It's the size of a business card. So those are the 2 that are going to be generated through your broker. You will get a copy of that. So the one that you're going to get is kind of the size of a business card. And so they're asking you which of the following is true. Is it that they must be placed and kept in a safe place chosen by you, the salesperson? Is it that you need to carry it while you're out there providing real estate services, or kept somewhere in that office which you are doing your business out of through that broker? Or is it that the broker needs to carry it? And so we end up, you pause and do yourself a favor and try answer the question. And so here's the answer. So we're talking about the license, right? I know some of us are definitely going to carry it with us. Nothing wrong with that. Here we're talking about what is in the law, right? Just like you will be carrying your business cards if you want to, for you to share with others, for them to come and do business with you. You might carry your license, which is the size of a business card. Wonderful. But nowhere in the law does it say that you need to do that. Here, it is the broker is the one that is responsible for that. And so they need to make sure that they have it with them at that particular office that you are affiliated with. And should the real estate commission visit that office, the broker is able to generate a list of all the agents that are affiliated with that particular brokerage. So here I'm helping you out in terms of why number 3 is the answer. And so if you look at number 1, you are reading too fast because, again, who's responsible for your license? The broker. So this one is saying chosen by the salespeople. No, everything is supervised by the broker. That's why number 1 doesn't work. Number 4, can you imagine a broker who has over 3,000 agents carrying that with them? So that is a lot to ask for the broker to do that. That's why we eliminate 1 and 4. For those who are very close to number 2, here, 2 is nice. It's okay. It doesn't mean you're violating the law when you carry it or you don't carry it. But the law itself is calling upon that it needs to be maintained in the office that you are affiliated with. So if you are part of a brokerage that has 3 offices and you belong to one of the offices, it should be in that office. If you're part of a brokerage that only has 1 office, then naturally it should be in that 1 office where you conduct the business. And here we're talking about where your broker conducts their business. Anytime you have follow-up or questions, put it in the chat box if you're watching this live, or later on if you need to clarify something, definitely put it in the comments for us to respond to that. I can't remember how many questions we have gone through, but let's keep going. Here's the next question. In dealing with licensees from a competitive firm, in dealing with licensees, individuals who are licensed in or from a different company. So I'm just paraphrasing the question. 1, you must cooperate with a licensee who has been very unpleasant and difficult to work with on previous occasions. Okay, some of you are pausing on that. Number 2, you can respond to an email request from their unhappy seller asking for your guidance. Okay. 3, you may briefly present their offer alongside your team leader's offer, which is being strongly promoted as the offer to choose. Or is it 4? All of these statements are correct. So let's review what the question is asking you. They're asking you, when you're working with your competition, right? They're from a different company. What is expected of you? And this is, we're going to borrow from the Code of Ethics, what is expected of us. So here, if you're kind of trying to figure out what the answer is, this is an opportunity. You can check out our guide provided on our website, trainingwithbrenda.com. We review the part of ethics, and one part of the ethics is going to kind of guide you on what the answer is. So the answer, if I provide it to you, you might not like this. However, it ends up being, you do your best for the best interest of your client. Even if that other licensee is being unpleasant and or difficult to work with. Now here, if they are violating ethics and or violating laws, that's a different story. However, you have been hired by your client to work in their best interest. And if on the other side it is not pleasant and or they have been difficult to work with in a previous occasion, I'm going to say we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. You're going to prepare yourself and you're going to follow the code of ethics because you're working for the best interest of your client. Let me echo it again. If this other agent is violating laws and or code of ethics, you have opportunity to file your complaint with a local association that you're a part of and or the real estate commission, but you're working for the best interest of your client. So number 2 doesn't work because we're not going to directly communicate with the client of another agent. We shall refer them back to their agent. We're only able to respond to material facts. So when you're responding to an email request, you're going to respond with material facts and you're going to refer them back to their agent for them to sort it out. We're not going to anyway present it as if we now want to take them away from this particular agent. Yes, sellers might be unhappy, buyers might be unhappy. If they're unhappy with the services, they can connect with the broker and see whether they can find someone else, but you're not going in any way trying to show them how to get rid of their current agent, even though they are upset. You will experience people who are upset and you will work through that. So that's number 2. We're not going to do that because we're not going to step on other people's toes. And then number 3 here, present all offers for the seller to make the decision. You're not going to try and influence the seller to pick your team members' offer over others. Seller is the one that's going to make the ultimate decision, and you present all of them on an equal playing field. And therefore, number 4 is not a choice or is not a correct answer to pick. I know that's a tough one. You will work through that. In any business, you're going to encounter individuals that you might have a difficult or unpleasant experience, and we work through that. Yes, if they're violating any laws or regulations, we have the opportunity to file a complaint. Let me see how we are doing. Also with time. So I'm seeing I have a couple of moments to share and continue. Once again, if you're still with us, we have resources that we are able to continue this conversation on our website. The ebook that I keep referencing to is found on trainingwithbrenda.com. If you click on products, you're going to find it there. It reviews all the 6 topics. You have practice questions, videos, and in-depth review of the 6 topics. Let's continue. Which statement about teams is incorrect? So the next question we have is, which statement about teams is incorrect? So this is a moment to review. According to Maryland real estate law, what is defined as a team? And you are able to review that in your current content or review that on our website, the ebook found on trainingwithbrenda.com. Is it 1, members select their own team leader? 2, persons licensed under different brokers may be members of one team. 3, the team leader may be a salesperson. 4, team advertising must show the name of at least one licensed team member. What is the question? Which one is false? Which one is incorrect about teams? If you're not familiar with the definition of teams here in the state of Maryland, it is defined as a group of people coming together. People is 2 or more that regularly do business and present themselves as one. They have come up with an identification name, and that identification name to identify this group of people working together is directly linked to the company. And you will see that under the Code of Ethics topic. It is also reviewed under the topic of business conduct. So here we are. You and I are part of a team presenting ourselves to the public that we regularly do business together. We have come up with the name of, I don't know, Sunshine Team of Cast Realty. We're good. So now we are seeing which one is incorrect. You and I, number 1, we can do that. You will select who's going to be your team leader. Number 3 is a correct statement in terms of the team leader could be a salesperson. So here Brenda is just reviewing why 1, 2, and 3 are correct statements. Number 3 says team leader may be a salesperson. Yes, as long as they have been licensed for 3 years, they could be a team leader. And 4, when it comes to teams, when you're advertising, we need to show the name of at least one team member. And so the answer to this question is because they're asking you which one is a false statement. And so the answer ends up being number 2. We cannot be in different companies. You cannot be with Sunshine Realty and I with Cast Realty, and then we form a group. Even though we're best friends, we cannot. We need to be in the same company because teams are still supervised by a broker. So the broker needs to be able to still supervise the team or group underneath of that particular brokerage. You cannot team up with your buddy who's part of a different brokerage. So the answer to this question is persons licensed under different brokers may be members of one team. The question was asking you which statement is incorrect, which one is false. Next question. If a seller of Maryland property does not disclose the existence of known deferred tap fees. So I'm already asking, what in the world is deferred tap fees? So what that means is a tap or a faucet or a hose. So that is now water. Deferred means that this is money that you are going to be paying for it once you buy this property. So I'm just explaining the question. You're selling your property here in Maryland, and when you bought it, how the water comes into that particular building and how sewage is taken out. It was broken down that you're going to be paying that bill for the next 30 years, 40 years, what have you. And that bill, you're going to be paying it once a year. So now you're selling your property after you've owned it, let's say for 5 years, and you have 25 years left. So when I am buying it, I need to continue making that payment because it's attached to the property. So if the seller does not disclose that, now what, right? So choice number one, the buyers can terminate the contract up until they receive their loan commitment. Number two, the listing salesperson, the person working for the seller who did not disclose about these fees, is required to be financially responsible for the disclosed fees. Number three, the seller can be obligated to pay the deferred water and sewer charges. Number four, the seller can terminate the transfer of title. So here they're asking you, if the seller who's selling this property does not disclose that this is applicable, that the buyer is going to continue to pay for this bill until it is paid in full, what happens? What are some of the things that the buyer should be aware of? They're just asking, now what? Which one of these is applicable? So here we end up with the seller did not disclose. There's a law that came about earlier than even COVID that says, seller, you need to disclose. You knew about it. You need to disclose. So, seller, if you did not disclose, guess what? You are responsible for that bill because the law requires the seller to disclose that. Now here, just to let you know, if you are a future seller and you decide that you're not going to use a real estate agent, this is information that is applicable whether you hire a real estate agent or not, because the buyer who's buying that property, when they get that bill, obviously they're going to be surprised and upset that you did not tell them and yet you knew about it. So this is not something that you can hide, dear seller. And this is something that you sign off in the contract of sale that is provided to you, dear seller. As an agent, this is something that you're aware of. You educate your sellers of the consequences that, hey, if you do not disclose this, you will be obligated to pay whatever balance is left, and you're signing that you acknowledge that. So that is something that Maryland has, and hopefully you can rewind back and review that again at any time. I think we're getting ready to close. We do this for about an hour. We're doing our best to do this every Tuesday. Oh, no, not every Tuesday. Let me say that again. The last Tuesday of every month at 7:30 p.m. Eastern for about an hour. If you're watching this replay, put your questions and or concerns in the chat box. If you want us to respond to you in the future live, you can put your questions under that particular website, trainingwithbrenda.com/ask. I think this is the last question. Which of the following is true concerning the 3-hour continuing education course in supervision? Which of the following is true? Meaning you have your real estate license, you're required to take some classes to maintain that license, known as continuing education. And here we're being specific in the question as to the one that is 3 hours long and in the topic of supervision. Is it 1? It must be taken by a new manager within 90 days taking that position. Is it 2? It must be taken by all brokers for every alternate license renewal. Is it 3? It must be taken by all licensed team members for every licensed renewal. Or 4, it is required for the broker and can be taken by branch managers as an elective. So if you have the opportunity to put your answers live right now in the chat box, definitely do that. So let's review what the question is asking of us and then the answer. When you get your license, to renew it, it is good for 2 years. And prior to your expiration date, you will be required to take some classes that we label as continuing education or CE or professional development. There are certain specific topics that are required of us to take. Please review that under the topic of licensing requirements. Once again, you can review it with the content that you have, or you can go to the Real Estate Commission website and find that information, or you can review it in our ebook, Pass the Maryland Real Estate Exam, found on our website. The question is asking you about the supervision course. So as a hint here, supervision is for individuals who are supervising others, right? So who would be required to take that? It would be the first one. So it is taken when you upgrade your responsibilities and now you're supervising others in an office. You will be required to take that 90 days when you take that position. It is also the same in case the question is presented differently. This is also applicable when you become a team leader. So let me say that again. When a person takes on the responsibility to be a manager of an office, or they take upon the responsibility of that they are a team leader, within 90 days, they need to take the course known as supervision, and it is 3 hours. Every time this individual is going to renew their license, it is going to be taken every 2 years. So that's why number 2 is not the answer, because it says every alternate. So alternate would be every 4 years, and that's not the case. A manager, team leader, or broker like myself are going to take the supervision course every renewal, every 2 years, and it is 3 hours. Why number 3 doesn't apply? It's because it says taken by all individuals, all licensed team members. No, it is only for team leaders, office managers, and brokers. Okay. So number 4, it is saying it is required for the broker. Yeah, that's good. But the moment they go on, it makes it false. When they mention and can be taken by branch managers as an elective, no. If you're a manager, a team leader, or a broker, it is one of your mandatory topics that you're going to be taking every time you're renewing your license. Currently, the amount of hours you're going to take is 3 hours. Let me let you know, laws change. October 1st, dear broker, dear team leader, Dear office manager, it is going to be an hour and a half. So usually as a parting note, how things work out is that laws change on a regular basis. October 1st, it will be in effect that brokers, team leaders, and office managers are taking the supervision course, but it's changing from 3 hours to an hour and a half. So for exam purposes, it takes a moment before they update the exams. So in the exam, if you see 3 hours, maybe all the way until December of this year, pick that, because by the time the laws change and the exam is updated, it takes a minute. All you need to know for practice sake, as of October 1st, 2025, it shall be 1.5 hours for that supervision course. And so our book will definitely be updated with that information. Here's your bonus. Last question, I believe. Let me make sure again, and also make sure, let me see if there are any questions on the chat box. Let me see. Okay, nothing so far. If you're joining us and we are just about to be finished, we are completing with one last question. You can always get back and rewind and watch this when it is posted on YouTube as a replay, and post your questions or comments in the comments box. Whew. Okay, last one, I promise. This was a bonus. When do regulations require the commission's form understanding home real estate agent to be utilized? Okay. If you were here with me at the very beginning, sometimes you need to read the questions again and review for yourself and understand, what are they asking me? So what they're asking you in this question is, when is it that the laws require that document that is produced and released by the Real Estate Commission titled Understanding Whom Real Estate Agents Represent? So there's a form titled Understanding Whom Real Estate Agents Represent. It is provided by the Real Estate Commission. When is it that the laws require that form to be used? So I've just summarized the question for you to the best of my ability. Is it 1, in response to an email inquiry or inquiry from a prospective purchaser asking about a listing? Is that when it's used? Or is it 2, at the first face-to-face meeting with an unrepresented tenant seeking a 1-year lease? Or is it 3, at the start of all real estate transactions in Maryland involving licensees? Or is it submitted with all written offers when representing a buyer client? If you have no idea and you're going through the course, this is your opportunity to pause on that topic that produces the most questions, the topic of agency or brokerage relationship. You can find that in our ebook if you don't have a textbook already, by going to trainingwithbrenda.com. And when you go to products, we have that ebook under the topic of brokerage relationship or agency. You will find all that you need to know about that topic there. So let's review this question. When is it that I need to use that form? We end up with, at the first face-to-face meeting with someone who does not have an agent speaking on their behalf, they haven't hired anyone, and it's a tenant, and they're seeking a 1-year lease. So I'm going to review. This form is to the public, educating them about how we as real estate agents function or what roles we play. When am I the buyer agent or tenant agent? When am I the seller or landlord agent? And when does dual agency apply? It's going to talk about that. And then the rules and or regulations are going to talk about when is it applicable in terms of transactions. It is applicable for leases that are more than 125 days. So answer number 2 is talking about a 1-year lease. It is applicable then. If you selected 1, you don't use the form. When somebody is asking you questions via email, text message, or a phone call, you're going to respond and share with them, who are you? That's all. The form itself, it's at the scheduled first face-to-face meeting. So if you chose number 1, I see where you are going, but we don't need the form when I'm responding back to the public about the property. I just need to disclose what role am I playing right now in relation to this property. Number 3 is not the answer because of the word all. This form is only used again for transactions where the lease is more than 125 days, and also where it is a residential property that is less than, or rather, 1 to 4 units. Over 5 is deemed as commercial, and it's a whole different set of rules there. Number 4, we do not submit it in our offers. Again, it's only applicable to someone who does not have representation. They're going to acknowledge what your role is. Your opportunity again to review either a video that we have somewhere. I'm going to remember to tag it for you to be able to review that again, or Parting Ways, a great resource that I'm going to recommend. Some schools are even using this as part of their curriculum. So Pass the Maryland Real Estate Exam Study Guide is going to be a great resource for you to check out. It will review all the content. You will be exposed to different questions than what I went through today to guide you to pass that real estate exam. I thank you so much for staying all the way to the end. Let's make things happen by making sure you go schedule for the exam. If you need our services with the tutor session, definitely do schedule for one when we are available to help you. We welcome that opportunity. Keep checking back on our website. Yes, we stumbled on the first question. We apologize and we look forward to seeing you the next time we offer this particular session, which is the last Tuesday of every month at 7:30. I will see you then. Take care.